بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. طلاب الفرقة الثالثة شعبة اللغة الإنجليزية. In this lecture we will take some applications or some exercise on chapter 5. Exercise number 1. Curtis Company is planning to introduce a new product that will sell for $96 a unit. The following manufacturing cost estimates have been made on 20,000 units to be produced the first year. We have direct materials costing $800,000 and direct labor costing $640,000. We have note that $16 per hour times 40,000 hours. Manufacturing overhead costs have not yet been estimated for the new product, but monthly data on total production and overhead costs for the past 24 months have been analyzed using simple linear regression. The following results were derived from the simple regression and provide the basis for overhead cost estimates for the new product. We have simple regression analysis results. Dependent variable factory overhead costs. Dependent variable represent the total factory overhead cost. Independent variable represent direct labor hours. Dependent variable we use the term Y. Independent variable we use the term X. Computed value intercept $120,000. Coefficient on independent variable $5. Coefficient of correlation 0.921. R square 0.848. Intercept means or present the total fixed cost. Total fixed cost. Coefficient on independent variable means the slope of the regression or the variable cost per direct labor hour. يبقى the direct labor hour cost $5. Coefficient of correlation we use the term R or multiple R to represent the coefficient of correlation. R square coefficient of determination 0.848. Required number A. What percentage of the variation in overhead costs is explained by the independent variable? What percentage of the variation in overhead costs is explained by the independent variable? What this means? R square. The explanation of variation in Y from X. The explanation of variation in Y from the change of X. So we use the coefficient of determination or R square. R square from the simple regression analysis results. R square equal 0.848 or we can say 84.8%. So the right answer is number 1. B. What is the total overhead cost for an estimated activity level of 50,000 direct labor hour? What is the total overhead cost? Total. So we need to calculate the fixed plus the total variable at a level of 50% direct labor hour. We have the intercept and we have the coefficient on independent variable. The equation resulting from this regression analysis is total overhead equal estimated fixed cost plus estimated variable cost per labor hour times activity level or labor hours. We can say intercept estimate plus coefficient estimate on independent variable times the activity level, in this case 50,000 direct labor hours. Intercept estimate its amount $120,000 plus coefficient estimate on independent variable equal 5 and the activity level equal 50,000 direct labor hour. So we have the fixed or the total fixed cost 120,000 plus 5 times 50,000 equal 250,000. The total of both of them 370,000. 370,000. So the right answer is number 2. How much is the variable manufacturing cost per unit? Take your attention, per unit, not per direct labor hour, per unit, using the variable overhead estimated by the regression, assuming that direct material and direct labor are variable costs. We have direct material and this is variable cost, direct labor variable cost. Direct labor 16 per hour, 16 per hour. So we need to know how many hours needed to produce 1 unit. We need to know how many hours needed to produce 1 unit. We have 20,000 unit and we work for 40,000 hours. The activity level equal 40,000 hours to produce 20,000 units. So we have to calculate the total labor hours. Total labor hours given, and we can calculate if it is not given. Total direct labor cost divided by direct labor wages rate. Total direct labor hours equal 640,000 divided by 16 per hour equal 40,000 direct labor hour. Then we calculate labor hours per unit. Total labor hours divided by total units. We have 40,000 direct labor hour to produce 20,000 unit. So we need 2 labor hours per unit. 2 labor hours per units. So the total variable cost per unit equal direct materials per unit plus direct labor per unit plus variable overhead. The total direct material equal 800,000. So if we need to calculate the direct material per unit, we take 800,000 divided by 20,000 unit. The same for direct labor. We have total direct labor cost 640,000 divided by 20,000 unit. Variable overhead equal 5 per labor hour, and the unit needed 2 labor hours, so variable overhead per unit equal 5 times 2 labor hours. 800,000 divided by 20,000 equal 40. 640,000 divided by 20,000 equal 32, and 5 times 2 equal 10, so the total variable cost per unit equal 82. The right answer is number 2. D. What is the expected contribution margin per unit to be earned during the first year on 20,000 units of the new product? Assume that all marketing and administrative costs are fixed. Contribution margin per unit equal selling price minus variable cost per unit. Selling price minus variable cost per unit. From the beginning of the exercise, we have that the selling price per unit equal $96, and we just now calculate the variable cost per unit. So the contribution margin per unit equal price minus variable cost per unit. The price given 96 minus total variable cost per unit 82, so the contribution margin per unit equal 14. Contribution margin per unit equal 14. The right answer number 4. E. What is the manufacturing cost equation implied by these results? What is the manufacturing cost equation implied by these results? The manufacturing cost equation equal the total fixed cost plus the slope or the variable cost per unit or per hour times activity level. So we can look for the total fixed cost. Total fixed cost represent the intercept $120,000. So number 1 wrong. We're looking about 2 and 3. We have the intercept or the total fixed cost 120,000. So we looking for the variable portion of the total cost. We calculate the variable cost per unit by 82 per unit from number C, 82 per unit. So number 2 wrong, number 3 wrong. The right answer number 4, some other equation. You must determine the right equation. Total manufacturing cost equal fixed manufacturing cost plus variable manufacturing cost. The fixed equal 120,000 plus the variable equal 82 times number of units. The second exercise. The business school at Eastern College is collecting data as a first step in the preparation of the next year's budget. One cost that is being looked at closely is administrative staff as a function of student credit hours. Data on administrative costs and credit hours for the most recent 13 months follow. So we have the independent variable is credit hours. The dependent variable is administrative costs. Number of months 13 months. Administrative cost, we can use the term Y to represent the administrative cost or dependent variable. Credit hours, we can use the term X to represent the independent variable. The controller's office has analyzed the data and given you the results from the regression analysis. We have multiple R. It represents the correlation of coefficient. R square, coefficient of determination. Adjusted R square, standard error, observation, ANOVA analysis, and we have the intercept and credit hours coefficient, standard error, T statistic, B value, the confidence of interval or interval of confidence, lower limit and upper limit at 95% or alpha by 5%. Required number A. In the standard regression equation, y equal a plus b times x, the letter B is best described as the independent variable or dependent variable or constant coefficient or correlation coefficient or variable cost coefficient. B represent variable cost coefficient. Variable cost coefficient. Number B. In the standard regression equation, y equal a plus b times x, the letter y is best described as independent variable, correlation coefficient, constant coefficient, variable cost coefficient, dependent variable. Y represent dependent variable. Y represent dependent variable. In the standard regression equation, y equal a plus b times x, the letter x is best described as x independent variable, dependent variable, constant coefficient, variable cost coefficient, or correlation coefficient. X represent independent variable. X represent independent variable. This is the answer for A, variable cost coefficient, B represent dependent variable, and C independent variable. Number D. If the controller uses the high-low method, so we can't use the regression analysis results. We can't use this total fixed cost or the slope of the variable cost, because the controller uses the high-low method to estimate costs. The cost equation for administrative costs is number are rounded to the nearest dollar. So we need to use the high-low method. We begin with x, the independent variable, and determine the high limit and the low limit. The high limit or the high level 2923. This is the high level of X, high level of activity level, high level of independent variable, and its cost 960,036. The low level or the low limit 242, and its cost 346,975. So we have the highest activity level and the lowest activity level and its cost X and Y. We can calculate the difference between cost and activity level or credit hours. Variable cost equal cost at highest activity minus cost at lowest activity, or the change or the difference between the cost divided by a change of activity level, highest activity minus lowest activity. Highest level 960,036 minus 346,975 divided by highest level 2923 minus 242 equal B, or the slope 228.6. If we round the number to the nearest dollar, it will be 229 per credit hour. Then we calculate the total fixed cost. Total fixed cost equal total costs minus variable cost. We can use the highest level or the lowest level. If we use the highest level, total cost equal 960,036 minus B times the activity level or the credit hours 2923. So we have total fixed cost equal 291,637. If we use the lowest activity, the total cost equal 346,975 minus B times credit hours 242 equal the same amount, 291,637. So the equation by using high-low method is fixed cost 291,637 plus B round to the nearest dollar times number of credit hours. Based on the results of the controller's regression analysis, now we will use the regression analysis results. The estimate of administrative costs in a month with 2,100 credit hours will be, we need to estimate the administrative cost at activity level 2,100 credit hours. Administrative cost equal the fixed cost plus B times X. The fixed cost represent the intercept, and this number 207 represent the coefficient of the variable cost. From the results of the regression, intercept equal 404,000 974.5. The coefficient of variable cost equal 207.1. When we rounded the number, so the intercept equal 404,875 and B equal 207. Resulting administrative cost by 839,575. So the right answer is number 4. The correlation coefficient, or you can say multiple R or R for the regression equation for administrative cost is multiple R equal 0.93 or 93%. If we have R, if we have no amount for R equal the root of R square. If R not found or ignored, so you can take the root for R square to calculate R. If R square unknown, you can take the square of multiple R to calculate R square. So the correlation coefficient equal number 2, 0.933. The percent of total variance rounded that can be explained by regression is the percent of total variance that can be explained by the regression. It means R square. So R square equal 0.87 or 87.1%. So the right answer number 2. Exercise 3. Learner Inc. is accumulating data to prepare its annual profit plan for the coming year. The behavior pattern of the maintenance costs must be determined. The accounting staff has suggested using regression to drive an equation in the form of y equal a plus b times x for maintenance cost. So y is the total maintenance cost. Monthly data regarding maintenance hours, so x is maintenance hours. So the independent variable is maintenance hour and the dependent variable is the maintenance cost. And costs for the preceding year have been entered into the regression analysis. Total hours of maintenance for the year equal 4,800. Total cost for the year equal $43,200. Regression results intercept represents the total fixed cost. B coefficient or the slope or the variable cost per hour, because X represent maintenance hours, so B variable cost per hour per the unit from X. R square equal 0.79 or rounded 80%. Require an regression equation expressed as y equal a plus b times x. How is the letter B best describe? B represent the coefficient of variable cost, coefficient or variable cost, or variable cost per hour. The letter B is best described as the estimate of the maintenance cost for an hour of maintenance. Maintenance cost for an hour of maintenance. How is the letter Y in the regression equation best described? Y is the maintenance cost, the dependent variable. The letter Y is best described as the observed maintenance cost for a given month, the dependent variable. How is the letter X in the regression equation best described? X is the hours of maintenance or maintenance hour or independent variable. X best described as the observed maintenance hour for a given month. Based on data derived from the regression analysis, what are the estimated costs for 360 maintenance hour in a month? So we have to estimate the cost of maintenance at activity level 360 maintenance. The equation intercept plus B times X. The estimated maintenance cost for months with 360 maintenance hour is the intercept or total fixed cost plus B times X. So the amount equal 3,309.05. What is the percent of the total variance that can be explained by the regression equation? The percent of the total variance that can be explained by the regression equation. It represents or measured by R square. Measured by R square. R square equal 79.7%. The total variance that can be explained by the regression is 79.7%. Now we finished this lecture and we will complete the next time.